How's it going, fam? Erica back with another video. We still don't know what the name of the channel is going to be, so I'm just going to keep saying that until we figure it out. Erica back with another video. Okay, today we are going to talk about realizations that I have had since moving into the camper, because this whole journey has been pretty insane, and a lot of people have been asking for a video like explaining my mindset on things now, what I learned from this whole experience. Yeah, I just thought it would be kind of cool to record what has changed since I lived a more normal life. Some of this might be a little deep, a little dark, a little negative, but that's just the reality of the situation. So let's just get into it. Things that I have realized since moving into a camper that has no running water, no shower, no bathroom, no internet, no nothing. First off, this experience has genuinely showed who my real friends are and who are not. That is one of the biggest things that I have learned, is that people that I thought would be there for me, nope. It's really interesting how the universe weeds those people out as soon as you need something from them, right? Very interesting. So, I have some friends that have just absolutely been fantastic throughout this whole experience, and I am so grateful for them. But it was really funny how quickly some of them ran away when they saw that, like, we were moving into this situation, and they were like, I don't want to help with that. People are interesting, man. I'm one of those people where, like, if you are my friend and you need help, I am there for you. And if you're a stranger and you need help, I am there for you. Like, does not matter. I am there for you. And it's crazy how many people these days are just, like, lazy, morally lazy. So, yeah, this experience has definitely shown me where loyalties lie. I'm very grateful for the friends that I do have, but some of them were out of here. I'll just say that. The second thing is I've realized how, like, resilient dogs are. So that was one of the biggest concerns of mine, was like, will my dogs be okay moving into this situation? And dogs are very resilient. And I had to be, like, logical about this whole thing, because if I were not to live in a logical world, I would drive myself insane out here. It's so easy when you have no distractions to drive yourself crazy and overthink things and convince yourself that everything is shit. So, as you have seen in a lot of the videos, I think, the dogs are way more calm, quiet, and happy here than they ever were at the old house. They had quadruple the amount of room at the old house than they do here in the camper. But they're happier here. They're happier with this environment. They're happier without the stress of the roommate we had and her lifestyle and animals. I'll put it that way. They're always happy and asleep in the videos now. And is the camper small compared to our old place? Yeah. But you have to remember, a lot of people typically, work an 8 or 9 hour day, and they'll walk their dog for like 15 minutes through town before they go to work to pee and poop, and then the dog is put in a crate all day at home, right? And then you get home and you let the dog out and feed it, and then that's kind of it for the night. Like, that's a typical American family, for real. That is not how I am at all. I exercise my dogs a ton, but my point is, this is kind of like their kennel. This is their safe space, and they're happy with it because they know that they're safe here, and they have their own little spots. They share spots too. There's 2 of my dogs. I got one on the floor curled up down there and one on the bed. And yeah, they do alternate spots. They'll share and they'll trade off, but they kind of like find their little place, and they're happy and comfortable here. And as long as Mama's here to take care of them and exercise them and make sure everything's okay, they are happy. So they get tons of exercise. I just made a video saying that I get up at like between 4 and 6 in the morning and I don't even work until 2 p.m. And that time is predominantly spent with them, exercising them, and then doing projects on the campers and stuff. But they get a ton of exercise, so that makes them happy too. But dogs are resilient, and if you are happy and calm, it reassures them that they should be happy and calm too. So although we're living in the camper in the middle of nowhere with a way smaller yard than we were used to and a way different schedule than we were used to, they're happy. They're so happy here. So dogs are very resilient. That is something I have learned, and I always knew that, but I have really realized that lately. They can go through anything in life with you as long as you are there for them and you give them what they need. What else have I learned? Instagram is not for me and probably never will be. Oh my goodness. So I had my Instagram, I think, for like 5 years. I got to almost 10,000 followers. I had a huge following. I made some of the most incredible connections with some of the biggest knife companies in the world, some of the biggest content creators in the world, some of the biggest YouTubers ever. I was very blessed to take that journey and become such an incredible part of a community. However, Instagram is very interesting, and I think it's very addicting, and you may not even realize that you're addicted to it, and you probably are. The mindless scrolling is an issue that I had. The reels and like looking through things to entertain myself were an issue. Also, when you have a knife Instagram and you follow other knife pages and other knife content creators and stuff, you're constantly seeing the latest and greatest, and you can't help but want it a lot of the time. And it became an absolute addiction for me. I had an album on my phone of screenshots of knives that I wanted, like a wish list that just kept ebbing and flowing, and that's odd to me now. Just the straight addiction in that community is really detrimental. You're constantly seeing and hearing about the latest and greatest, which, let me remind you, a lot of content creators get the latest and greatest and then they do a review on it, which makes you want it even more, but they never actually use the knife. So it's just this like head game of constantly wanting things, and it's never enough. And I'm so glad to be out of that now. And I'm not crapping on the whole community or anything, or Instagram as a whole. I'm just saying, like, for me, it just got to a point where it wasn't for me anymore. And it's very nice just not seeing what's going on anymore, because I don't want anything. I don't feel pressured to take certain photos of certain things to post. And here's another weird part of Instagram. There is a silent agreement about supporting other pages. So what I mean is, I had like a specific group, a small specific group of people where every single day I would make sure that I liked and commented on their photo, because they're my actual friends. Like, even outside of Instagram, I am still best friends with these people, like Jeremy from Bumblebee EDC, and Nicole, obviously, from Nicole's EDC, and like Eric from Indie Hammer, right? Like, I text these people. I live across from Nicole, but I like text these people and have a relationship with them. My friend Jenna, I think hers was Kona EDC. Those are my real friends, and every day I would make sure that I supported their stuff. But then you have this second tier of people where you have somehow fallen into a habit and a routine of liking their photos and commenting on them every day. And they do the same to you. But if you weren't to do the same for them, they would not do the same for you. And it's this weird, silent, like, contract. Like, I like and comment on your stuff, and you will like and comment on my stuff. And if you don't, I won't do it back for you. And it's just an odd dynamic that becomes stressful after a while, because if, God forbid, you miss a day, or Instagram hides the posts, you have to, like, search that person, go back, find their photo, make sure to like and comment on it, and it just became so exhausting keeping up with it all the time. It was just tiring. So I'm very glad to not have that platform anymore. As fantastic and beautiful as it was for a long time, I'm just not at a point now where I have the energy to keep up with it anymore, nor do I have the energy to support that addiction that I had to constantly wanting the latest and greatest knives. And I don't need them anymore. I don't want them anymore. And I'm back to like kind of budget steels, and those are working much better for me in this lifestyle than the exotic steels would. So yeah, that was a huge thing for me. And I think I've just realized one of the most interesting things that I have realized, is like society has absolutely groomed us to find things important or interesting that literally aren't. That's definitely one of the biggest things I've noticed is like I go into work or go into a social situation where people are talking about like what's trending lately, and I have no interest, but it's also just like, how did this even become something of interest? Like, there are certain topics and certain celebrities and certain just people, and I'm like, why is this actually relevant? Like, can we talk about something like real with substance? It's so crazy how we've almost become like drones, and we find common ground, like topics to talk about that literally have zero fucking substance. I went over my friends Anne and Jeff's house the other day. They helped us do the fence. They have been so supportive throughout this whole thing. I've been friends with them for like 7 years. We shower and do our laundry at their house. And we had dinner the other night. And I'm not kidding. We sat there for, gosh, it must have been like an hour and a half or 2 hours and talked about the silliest things. But they were like real life things. And we had the best time together. We did not talk about like Ye West and Kim Kardashian and a divorce or like Matt Walsh and stuff like that. Like, we didn't talk about politics or what's trending on YouTube and Instagram or anything. We didn't talk about any of that stuff. We talked about towns that we grew up in, and we talked about like going to Savers and Goodwill for clothing and how I can't do that because I don't like the smell, and Anne likes going there. And we talked about morals, and we talked about all kinds of stuff, foods and just real stuff, I guess, interests and how we grew up and our parents and our friends. We just talked about real life stuff, and we just sat there for like, you know, almost 2 hours eating dinner together like a family and just talking about real life stuff, which nobody does anymore. People almost get awkward if you try to talk about real life stuff. And I just feel that society has influenced us to be like kind of rude and obnoxious and to exploit ourselves, and all of the songs are about, you know, sex and drugs and being violent toward other people, and it's just like, I just don't find interest in it anymore at all. I really don't. Now that I'm not exposed to it, it actually makes me really uncomfortable. A lot of it does. A lot of it makes me really uncomfortable. And I just try to stay on topics of like normality and real life stuff, and like, you know, doing kind things for people, and just yeah, it's odd. It's an odd world out there. So that's one of the biggest things I've realized, is just like a lot of the stuff that is acceptable right now in the world and talked about are just not interests of mine whatsoever. And when you're not seeing it and hearing about it constantly, it slowly becomes almost non-existent. and it becomes very peaceful and quiet, and that's when you realize, like, whoa, this is real life. Like, all that chaos out there is just a distraction. So, yeah, just some things that I've kind of realized since moving into this situation. It's just so funny how you guys all made this happen for us when some of the closest people in our lives didn't give a crap. And that's not to say all of them. We have some incredible friends and family in our lives. I'm just saying, like, you guys are literally the only reason we got these campers. And you know that. You guys literally saved our lives. There's no way we would have had this setup. We literally would have been homeless if it weren't for you guys. And it's so incredible to me how all of you came together to literally, like, save us. And then people that were in our real life were like, oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Have fun. Like, I am so grateful for you guys. Seriously. You are all incredible. But yeah, those are some realizations that I have had since coming into this situation. I'm sure I'm just going to learn more and more. But those are some things I've been thinking about. I will see you guys on the next video. Go live your life. I love you guys so much. See you soon.